In the world of politics, there is a powerful force that operates in the shadows. It's a force that moves money with no transparency, making it nearly impossible for the average voter to understand who is truly pulling the strings. This hidden power, known as dark money, has a grip on our government, influencing elections, shaping policies, and determining the direction of our country. But who are the players behind dark money, and how is it that so much of our political system is controlled by individuals who, quite literally, have more power than the voters themselves? In this video, we'll uncover the mystery behind dark money, examining its impact on our democracy and the forces behind this covert operation. Stick with us as we reveal the truth behind who really runs the government. Let's start with the fundamentals. Dark money refers to political spending by non-profit organizations that are not required to disclose their donors. These organizations, such as 501c4 groups, use their tax-exempt status to influence elections without revealing who is behind the funding. This means that a billionaire, a corporation, or any group with financial means can pour vast sums of money into influencing elections or legislation without the public ever knowing where the money came from. The key here is that these donations are hidden, dark. Unlike super PACs, which are also able to accept unlimited donations, dark money organizations do not have to disclose their donors, making it impossible for the public to track where the money is coming from and who is really behind the scenes. To understand how dark money became so influential, we need to look back at a landmark Supreme Court decision, Citizens United v. FEC in 2010. This ruling essentially overturned decades of campaign finance laws that limited corporate spending in elections. The court ruled that corporations and unions could spend unlimited amounts of money to influence elections, claiming that such spending was a form of free speech. But it didn't stop there. The ruling allowed for the creation of organizations like 501c4 and super PACs, which could operate with little to no transparency. Suddenly, dark money was unleashed into the political system, flooding elections with anonymous donations, much of it coming from powerful billionaires and corporations. And since these donations are hidden, the public is left in the dark about who is influencing their vote. Dark money plays a significant role in the electoral process. Because there are no limits on how much can be spent, wealthy individuals or corporations can buy enormous influence in political campaigns. In many cases, dark money is used to fund attack ads, smear campaigns, and other forms of political advertising designed to sway voters and influence election outcomes. Because these ads are not required to disclose their donors, voters often have no idea who is behind them or what their real motives are. For example, in the 2010 midterm elections, a massive surge in dark money spending was noted, with some estimates showing that more than $130 million was funneled into races with no clear source of funding. This created an environment where the voices of everyday voters were drowned out by the unseen forces of wealth. So, who are the beneficiaries of dark money? In many cases, it's the billionaires, those who already have vast wealth and resources. The Koch brothers, for example, have been among the most prominent figures in dark money spending. Through their network of non-profit organizations and super PACs, they have poured hundreds of millions of dollars into influencing elections and shaping policy. These billionaires fund candidates who align with their interests, often those who advocate for lower taxes, deregulation, and policies that benefit the wealthy elite. Through dark money, they are able to secure favorable policies without ever having to go through the democratic process of campaigning and publicly declaring their financial influence. But it's not just billionaires who benefit. Corporations and special interest groups also have a lot to gain from dark money spending. Large industries such as fossil fuels, pharmaceuticals, and big tech companies use dark money to influence legislation in ways that maximize their profits. For instance, oil and gas companies have spent millions of dollars to fund candidates and political ads that oppose environmental regulations and climate change legislation. The goal is clear: to protect their bottom line while avoiding accountability to the public. While billionaires and corporations benefit from dark money, the real losers are the average citizens. Dark money creates an uneven playing field, where those with the most resources can influence elections and policies, leaving the voices of ordinary voters unheard. This undermines the very essence of democracy, the idea that all citizens should have an equal say in their government. When money can dictate political outcomes behind closed doors, the public loses faith in the electoral system, which can lead to voter apathy and disillusionment. To understand the full impact of dark money, we need to explore how it flows into the political system. Typically, wealthy individuals or corporations make large contributions to non-profit organizations that are not required to disclose their donors. These organizations then spend the money on political advertisements, issue advocacy, or other efforts to influence elections. The donations go through a maze of legal entities designed to conceal the identities of the donors, making it nearly impossible to track the true source of the funding. This process is made easier by the lack of regulatory oversight, as the 501(c)(4) organizations, in particular, are allowed to spend money on politics without revealing the names of their contributors. It's a web of financial activity that's almost impossible for the average voter to unravel. One of the most powerful tools for dark money influence is the media. The organizations that benefit from dark money spending often use it to fund advertising campaigns, attack ads, misleading infographics, and propaganda that are designed to sway voters. These ads are typically aired on television, online platforms, and social media. Since dark money organizations don't have to disclose their donors, viewers are left unaware of the real backers behind these ads. This anonymity allows the wealthy elite to influence public opinion without ever facing public scrutiny. Super PACs, political action committees, are another vehicle through which dark money can influence politics. While they are required to disclose their donors, many PACs serve as a conduit for dark money. These super PACs often receive donations from dark money groups and funnel the funds into political ads and other efforts. By using these intermediaries, dark money can flow through the system without ever revealing its true source. This setup allows the wealthiest Americans to control the political conversation without accountability or transparency. The growing influence of dark money means that our government is increasingly being shaped by the wealthiest individuals and corporations, rather than the people. As the rich get richer and their influence expands, they gain more control over the policies that affect all of us. From healthcare to taxes to the environment, dark money has skewed government priorities toward the interests of the few at the expense of the many. This creates a system where the concerns of ordinary citizens are pushed aside in favor of policies that benefit those with deep pockets. As dark money continues to flow into our political system, it erodes public trust in democracy. Voters begin to feel as though their voices don't matter when decisions are made by shadowy, anonymous donors behind closed doors. This disillusionment leads to voter apathy, which in turn further undermines the democratic process. The more the public feels excluded from the decision-making process, the less likely they are to participate in elections or hold their representatives accountable. At its core, dark money threatens the fairness of elections. When money can decide who wins and who loses, elections no longer become a true representation of the will of the people. Instead, they become a race for who can raise the most money and influence the most voters. This shift fundamentally alters the balance of power in democracy, as the wealthiest citizens gain disproportionate influence over elections and policies. It's a system where money, not ideas, wins the day. One of the most obvious solutions to the dark money problem is campaign finance reform. By instituting stricter rules on political donations and ensuring full transparency in campaign funding, we can begin to close the loopholes that allow dark money to flow so freely. Reforms should include mandatory donor disclosure for all political spending, including that made by non-profit groups. By making the identities of political donors public, we can shine a light on the shadowy world of dark money and make it harder for wealthy elites to control the system. In addition to campaign finance reform, we must strengthen voter rights to ensure that every citizen's voice is heard equally. By expanding access to voting, reducing voter suppression, and ensuring that all eligible voters can participate in elections, we can counterbalance the influence of dark money. Finally, we must demand greater accountability and transparency in politics. Politicians must be held responsible for their actions, particularly when they are influenced by dark money. Whether through stricter regulations or public pressure, we must ensure that the voices of ordinary citizens are not drowned out by the wealthy few. To protect our democracy, we need to stay informed and demand change. If you want to help fight back against the growing influence of dark money, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this.